Hey, what's up, guys? Wishing everybody out there a very happy new year. Can't wait to get rid of 2020 and bring in 2021. Hopefully, this year will be much, much better. Kazuto Ioka closes out the year in style. Great performance today against Kosei Tanaka over in Japan. And real quick, if you don't have this guy on your pound for pound list, well, then your list is incomplete and you need to do some research. He's clearly one of the top 10 operators in the sport of boxing. Don't even come at me, don't even debate because it's not up for debate. Ioka is one of the top 10 fighters in the sport. His last loss was to Donnie Nietes back in 2018. And at that time, myself and many others rated Donnie Nietes as one of the top 10 fighters in the sport. And now you see why, right? You see why. So that 115-pound division, whether you want to call it super flyweight, junior bantamweight, whatever, it is clearly one of the best divisions in boxing. Me personally, I think it's the best division in the whole sport. And I'll get to that in a second. But I want to talk real quickly about a few things Ioka is doing that I think some fans, particularly Western boxing fans, particularly American fans, won't give him credit for. I think that there's a certain style, particularly defensively, that American fans are used to, casual fans, that they're used to the Floyd shoulder roll. They're used to all the head movement, making a guy miss like this. Yet there are a lot of fighters in the eastern part of the world, be they from Japan or if you go up to Russia, Ukraine, and then some styles in the Latin American countries as well, where guys are more prone to catch and shoot. And I'm not just talking about the peekaboo, where you just walk in like Winky Wright style. I'm saying Ioka in this fight, if you go back and watch, there was one section, I think like in the third or fourth round, it was early on in the fight, where Tanaka pushed forward with a 6 or 7 punch combination and just step forward with every punch. Bah, 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 right? Just, shotgun kind of punches, machine gun kind of punches, stepping in with each shot. And it looked impressive to the untrained eye because Ioka was backing up. But what he was doing very subtly is he had a high guard, angled high guard, so he could see through, and he would lean back with one shot, half step back with the other. So it was a lean, half step, lean, half step. And it was just enough to keep Tanaka at range where none of the shots landed. And when Tanaka would go downstairs, those elbows would come in. If he was trying to hit the solar plex, boom, you put those elbows together, you catch that. If he's trying to go around the guard, pop, you drop down, catch it. Or you could barely bring that guard down, but Ioka's guard never moved much. It was from the cheekbones maybe to the orbital bones. It was just kind of up here. And so he could slide down to catch a body shot. He could come up to catch a looping shot on the temple. And then, of course, mid-range outside, he did use head movement and things like that. But, the catch and shoot type of defense and rolling with a punch, absorbing a punch with your gloves, with your eyes open, seeing it coming, and maybe you're going to take a little bit of that punch. The gloves are big, man. The end of a glove is big. It's bigger now than your wrist. If you catch it with your gloves, you can really catch a lot of it. But if you catch something with your wrist or forearm, the side of your glove, that punch might slide off a little bit. You might eat some of it. It might mark up your face. And so again, I'll go back to a lot of casual fans that will see that and be like, "Oh, that's not defense. That's a." I think a lot of fans make the mistake of saying that is a lower skill level of defense, and it's just not true, man. In fact, a lot of guys with that shoulder roll, right? If I'm turning here and making you miss, and then coming here, I get some nice leverage on that shot, but it's all upper body. You can't necessarily put your legs into it if you're leaning back. It depends. It depends. But you got to come from here with that shot, or you got to come from underneath with that shot if you're using your head and then coming here. But if I catch you, if you hit me with a left hook and I catch it, man, my glove is right here and I can snap you. If you loop a right hand, it's the same thing. I could catch you here. Bah. We've seen so many examples. One is that just popping in my mind right now when Gennady Golovkin was fighting Daniel Geale. And he was eating a punch as he landed his punch, but because he had the proper angle, he moved his man into proper position and was coming forward with leverage. He was able to walk right through that shot to land his, right? And there's a million examples of this I could give you. Some really pretty stuff Ioka was doing on the inside is when they were, head to head, toe to toe, whatever, he'd be here and he would push with his right hand and step while he was pushing. A little half step, a little tiny pivot while he moved Tanaka where he wanted him. Same thing with the left. That's something Canelo does brilliantly on the inside, where he'll take a little step to his left and then downstairs, upstairs with the hook. And he doesn't need to get much leverage on it because he positions with the proper angle. So he ain't got to cork with his hips as much because he's already there. He can bend back and then he can move that hip like this way instead of having to coil back. So there was just little stuff Ioka was doing like that on the inside. And then at mid-range on the outside, he was picking off shots and countering beautifully. He was punching with Tanaka in spots. There was a lot of craft here shown by Ioka, and that's what you want in a pound-for-pound level fighter. You want to see craft. Full disclosure, you guys that listen to my podcast, I picked Tanaka. I edged him. Keyword edged. I slightly favored Tanaka because we've seen him get hit. We've seen him in wars, but he's been able to physically wear down opponents and weather those storms and pull out those wins in those type of fights. I thought this was a distance fight, and you could see in the ring clearly Tanaka was the bigger, stronger guy physically. But early on, I would say by the third round or so, you could see Ioka was the more skilled fighter. And he was getting off the line. He was rolling under jabs and coming up with right hands. And he was doing that on the inside as well as on the outside. So there was just a lot of craft from him. And what Tanaka was doing, a lot of it was straight in, straight out. Wasn't getting his head off the line as much. And one thing I noticed too, and I just never saw this before, but obviously Ioka and his people did. When Tanaka throws, particularly with his left hand, he'll come in covered up. But as soon as he goes to throw that left hook, that right hand drops. It's just he loads up and then throws. Even if it's with a jab sometimes, he'll kind of jab like this, but especially with the left hook. Watch in slow motion, guys. You'll see him when he goes to coil and load up, that right hand comes down, then he shoots the left hook. And Ioka was timing that, and that's why he couldn't miss with his own left hook. It was landing after, I'd say, the fourth round on. It was like target practice with it. He had Tanaka timed with that right hand drop. As I slam my elbow into the table here, just again, go back and watch that, man. He drops, then shoots. It's just a habit he has. It's very fast, but if you're a high skill operator like Ioka, you see that and you time that. And as soon as that right hand's coming down, you're punching. You just time it, and as soon as this is coming down, bam, you're getting hit with that left hook. It happened several times, and it dropped Tanaka a couple times in the early mid rounds, and then it was actually the finishing shot. And by the way, I want to give props to the referee. I can't remember his name. I'm looking here on BoxRec just to look up his record. Michiaki Someya. I hope I'm not completely butchering that. But as soon as Tanaka took that last left hook in the 8th round, he kind of lunged forward, but he didn't fall down. Tanaka was in such great shape that his body physically stood up, but he was clearly neurologically out. It was so obvious to see. And the referee immediately jumped in and hugged him. And again, to the untrained eye, people would be like, dude, that's a horrible stoppage. What the hell? Give the guy some time to recover. But if you watch after that, as he kind of hugged Tanaka, Tanaka was still stumbling. And he had to hold him up for, 30 damn seconds. And Tanaka did not complain, nor did his corner. It was actually a great split-second stoppage. Had he not jumped in there, obviously Ioka would have followed up and landed something that would have had Tanaka out on the canvas for 5-10 minutes. Now, for us bloodthirsty ghouls, us boxing degenerates, that would have been awesome to see because that's what we love, right? Those devastating kind of knockouts. But for the health of the fighter and everything else, that stoppage was outstanding. In fact, you might call that the stoppage of the year. If there was an award for referees, then we have to give the 2020 stoppage of the year to Michiaki Someya. I really think he deserves that. I wanted to make sure I got that on record here. Okay, 115-pound division, real quick. And I'm not going to drive this point home too much. I want to give some of you guys some perspective. A lot of American fight fans, and look, I'm a proud American. I served my country. I was in the Marine Corps, okay? I'm not trying to beat up on my country, but I feel like a lot of fans here and some media outlets or some new media outlets completely ignore the lower weight divisions. And I think the biggest reason is ethnocentric because a lot of the fighters in those divisions are non-American. They're from other parts of the world. So it's easy for casual observers here in the West and new media outlet. That's their term. I ain't gonna. I'm not making that shit up. That's what they call themselves. They seem to ignore these. If you're turning a blind eye to the super flyweight division, junior bantamweight, whatever you want to call it, then man, you're missing out. If you're a true fight fan, this division is the best in the sport. Let me give you the top 5 right now in this sport. Check this out. Check out these names. Juan Francisco Estrada, Srisaketsoa Rungvi Sai, Roman Gonzalez, Kazuto Ioka, and Jerwan Ancajas. That top 5 right there rivals any top 5 in any other division. Come at me. Let's debate it if you disagree. What other division has a top 5 that stacked? And let's not forget, Dani Nietes, who beat Ioka, clearly there was no controversy, who beat him in 2018, hasn't fought since. There's been some issues, I think, with his gym, his team, his promoter. He's supposedly back in the gym right now and getting ready to fight again in 2021. He comes back. He's going to be fighting in that division. He wants the big names. He wants the Estradas, the Gonzalez, and now Ioka. He wants those. Well, he already beat Ioka, but perhaps a rematch. Ioka coming off this big win. He wants those big names, so he's a player in that division. Should Kosei Tanaka decide to continue campaigning at 115, this was his first fight at 115, then he's in the top 10 in that division. He showed enough tonight to show that he belongs in the top 10. He just has to iron out some things that he was able to get away with at 105, 108, 112 that ain't going to work as easily at 115. But then also, man, the bottom 5 of this division, let's not forget, Khalid Yafai ain't trash. He's a good young fighter. Joshua Franco has shown marked improvement working with Robert Garcia. Andrew Maloney, Carlos Cuadras was in a fight of the year candidate, maybe the fight of the year. The last few years he's been in a couple of them. So, man, you look at that top 10. Once again, guys, I don't know how in the hell you could say this isn't one of the best, if not the best division in boxing. And it's delivered consistently year after year. If the World Boxing Super Series is coming back for a season 3, and for the record, they claim that they are, this is the division to invest in. I don't give a damn if there's any other division in the damn tournament. They're talking about coming back with like 3 different tournaments, maybe even 3 men's divisions and a female division. Look, come back and just put all your damn money at 115 and make the tournament bigger and just do it there. Because this is the most loaded division in boxing. And right now, Estrada is the top guy because he has the ring belt. He is the top guy in the division, the lineal champ, if you will. But man, I want to see more of these top guys fighting each other. We already have a great fight at 115 scheduled in the first quarter of 2021. I want to see some more of these guys jump in the mix. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know, you think I'm crazy or am I onto something here? I don't think, I'm not a smart guy. I don't think it takes a lot of intelligence to see this division's loaded, and it's probably the best in the sport. And it helped finish off the year with a bang. So again, I'm wishing all you guys a happy new year. Be safe. Enjoy time with your family, friends. Enjoy the fight this weekend between Garcia and Campbell. For the record, I still like Garcia to make a statement in that fight. I think he's going to win. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. If I'm wrong, it won't be the first time, won't be the last. But I do get most of them right, believe it or not. And man, I had a great 2020 with you guys on my podcast. We're going to keep on building and doing bigger and better things in 2021. I'm really looking forward to it. This year has sucked for the most part for most of us. And I think we're all ready for 2021. So cheers to you guys. Enjoy yourselves tonight. I'll see you at the fights.